Hi, good afternoon and greetings. So happy International Women's Day. So excited to have you all joining us for our Utopia Talk. And today we're going to be talking about and focusing on celebrating women in wellness from around the world. So I am so excited to be joined here today by a good, dear, super friend, Dr. Ayisha Edwards and Jessica Utopia joining us from
Yes.
Now, I know there
Hi.
is a little feedback, so I apologize for this. We're going to try to troubleshoot this along the way. So, can't wait to dive into today's topic. So, why don't I let both of you just say a quick hello and tell us where you're joining us from?
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm so glad to be here with you in this beautiful space, just celebrating this important day. And congratulations to all of you. I'm glad to be here with you.
Where are you joining us from? Where are you joining us from, Jesse?
Yeah, I'm streaming from Colombia, my country where I live with my husband. This city is located at southwest of my country. Yes.
All right, beautiful.
Um,
Dr.
thank
Edwards,
you.
where are you joining us from?
Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Ayisha Edwards. I'm internal medicine physician, and I am coming from New York. Unfortunately, I'm not in such a beautiful country like Jessica.
Thank you, Aisha.
Well, New York is where it's popping. So, but we're gonna go visit Jessica in Colombia so she can show us around. So here we go. So I am Naya Powell, founder and CEO of Utopia Global Wellness, where we offer globally relevant wellness for the workplace to really promote workplace well-being and foster inclusion. So this is really a perfect and timely conversation as we're celebrating Women's History Month. And these women are making history. They are both women in their field where I would say they are the lesser portion of the population. So they're breaking barriers. They've overcome tremendous adversity, and they're doing amazing things. So super excited to have them here with us today. And I really wanted to just have a moment to celebrate the accomplishments of women. We are doing so many notable things. I will also say that I want to share a few statistics with you all around where we're looking in terms of trends in the world. So one of them is the total percentage of women working in tech is 25%. Asian women, 5%. Black women are 3%. Hispanic women are 1%. So I'm especially proud to be a Black woman in the wellness tech space and also working that wellness tech into the corporate workspace. So very proud of that. I want to share a study that according to the McKinsey study, women are leaving the workforce in unprecedented numbers because they're seeking more flexibility because women, we are doing it all, right? Wearing so many hats. So I have you both here as mothers, significant others, daughters, sisters, all the things. And you have been able to really charter uncharted territory, which is phenomenal. And it's an inspiration to us all. So I want to honor you both for what you're doing and how you're paving the way. In terms of medicine, so Dr. Edwards, you can come and chime in here. But in terms of women physicians and Black women physicians, I'm going to let you share, what those stats look like because I have my numbers over here, but I'm sure you know better than me.
So there are less than 3% of Black female physicians in medicine, and that has only risen by maybe a percentage over the last like 50 plus years. It's been challenging. There are many barriers that exist still within the field of medicine. As a Black woman, I felt that while the challenges were present, there were many patients that looked like me, and so I had to overcome them. I just had to do, and so I did. And I just continued to push forward with what has been innately within me to motivate me and to just continue to provide quality care for all patients and those that also people of color.
Beautiful, beautiful. So I think so many people probably want to know, like, what led you to this path of medicine? What was
To
it that
internal medicine?
in medicine and at any level? That's like a huge, that's not an easy thing to pursue. So, were your parents doctors? But if not, what kind of led you to pioneer this space?
So as a child growing up in Brooklyn, New York, there weren't many physicians that looked like me, let alone there weren't many physicians that were even providing quality care for the community of color that existed. And my passion to be the physician that is down to earth, that is relatable, that has the similar temperament, that can speak the language, that can walk the walk and talk the talk, and provide those services to people of color. That's what drove me. I am the first person to graduate college in my family, so I kind of set the pace and the bar. I didn't have a handbook. I didn't have a manual. There weren't many mentors that I could go to and ask for guidance. But through prayers, through God's prayers, the prayers of my mom and my grandmother, I did. And I just continued to do.
I love that. So the reason why that story is so powerful is because sometimes we say you have to see it to achieve it or see it to believe it. And so you were able to have vision, and vision is being able to see things that, are not necessarily there in the tangible. So the fact that you saw that vision and you persevered, even without someone necessarily holding your hand the whole way and guiding you, shows us that as women, as people, we can do anything that we put our minds to. So I want to hold on to that. And we're going to come back to you, Ayisha. Jesse, only 20% of martial artists are women, only 20%. So tell us how you entered into this space and kind of what was your inspiration to get into martial arts and to be a trailblazer in this area.
Yes, Naya, it's interesting because when I got into the martial arts, I realized, oh my God, almost every one of my partners were actually men. So it was challenging because I really decided to, overcome that and be like outstanding in that field because I fell in love with martial arts when I watched some movies. It can be funny, but that inspired me. So when I got into that field, I just feel like I could, that I had too present in my mind, my mom, because I always have seen her so overcoming everything in life, no matter what. So that served me a lot to keep in mind that I can, as a woman, and that actually as women we can do everything that we can dream. So we can make our dreams come true if we really put the effort necessary. So that was like motivated me into the wellness. And also when my family encouraged me to, to reconnect with nature, like jogging around a river, like climbing a mountain, because in my country there are many many spaces like with nature and all of that.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And I will, if I did not mention, thank you. I will say if I did not mention yet. So Jessie is the newest member of our Utopia Global Wellness team. So you will be able to participate in her live classes streaming from Colombia, Tai Chi Kickboxing, and she is a martial artist in a true form because she practices a lot of different areas. I love it. She even gave us a little 1-2. So I'm also so curious, when you first started seeing martial arts on the movies and things like that. And I think that's was probably many of us, that was our first introduction. And so, I remember my brother walking around like trying to karate chop people and things like that. So when you saw it, did it make you think like, "Ooh, I want to be strong like that. I want to be fast like that"? What was it that made you really interested in martial arts?
Well, I'm going to be like totally honest with you. I always wanted to explore like more than just kicking and punching. Uh, like more than that is my own energy, because since I was a child, my dad used to read us several books about, you are powerful, you can do it, you can achieve whatever you want to. So I started to explore things and activities that allowed me to, like activate that power. And when I watch a beautiful movie like Mulan and then Kung Fu Panda and all of that, it can be funny, but it was like that. I was, oh my God, I want to like activate that power. And I fell in love with martial arts. And when I got to my first academy, I fell in love with that, because it really allowed me to like explore that and enhance that power. And I discovered that martial arts is the one of the few things that everyone can practice, even if we are, no matter your age, no matter the time that you have available to do it. But if you are
Yeah.
at your desk, you can do it.
Yes,
Okay,
beautiful. So you can
Jessica,
do
I'm
it.
gonna see if we can do it because I'm of a certain age.
This is a fun
Yes,
thing.
yes.
This is a fun thing. So not only are we going to be hearing from both of these wonderful experts that are bringing us different perspectives of wellness. So we actually have our physician, internal medicine specialist, Dr. Edwards. We have our martial artist expert, and then you have some little coaching that I'm going to kind of squeeze in there and layer in there. But Jessica's actually going to do a express Tai Chi, seated Tai Chi experience and session for us at the end. So I want to kind of bring it back. We're going to do, this is like a virtual, table talk, if you will, Utopia table talk. So we're going to keep kind of moving it around a little bit. So one of the things that I heard Jessica say, and when I heard her say it, I was like, wow, this is very relevant for both myself and Dr. Edwards. So I went to school with Dr. Edwards. We went to Clark Atlanta University together. And so I've known her for a very long time. I won't tell you how many years because we don't look our age. But what I will say is she said her father told her, how strong they were and they could do anything. And I know that our mothers have been huge influences in our lives, and seeing them, juggle it all and do it all and being powerful women in our lives. But knowing that my father has also been a great influence in terms of me having a courage to go out in the world and pursue big dreams as well. And, really instilling in me, if they can do it, you can do it too. You know what I mean? And they don't have anything that you don't have. So, and he's always instilled that in me. And so, Ayisha, I remember you telling stories about your father. So I'll let you tell your own story about how he influenced where you are today.
So to piggyback off of you ladies, yes, it was my father who planted the seed as well within me. My father did not even graduate from high school. In fact, I don't even think he stepped foot in a high school, but he knew the importance of education. He is of Caribbean descent and came from Barbados to New York and knew that education was important for his children. And he was the one at the age of about 3 or 4 that kind of told me I was going to be a physician. And so for many years, I kind of ran around the world and said, yeah, I'm going to be a doctor when I grow up. I'm going to be a doctor when I grow up, not realizing that you truly can plant a seed and manifest that seed within that child just by telling them positive affirmations. This is what you're going to do. And it was when I was in college with Naya that it finally hit me. And I said, no, really, yeah, now I really am going to be a physician. And it occurred. And I actually, as I stated earlier, the first person to graduate college. But since then, all of my siblings have followed and they have all obtained higher education. Of course, both of my parents are proud. And my mom, I'm not discrediting her. She has been extremely supportive in my entire journey as well. I wouldn't be here without the matriarch of our family. So.
Yes, and I love it because I think although we're celebrating International Women's Day and we're celebrating, Women's History Month, I think it's really important that we show kind of and demonstrate and share how we've had influences from both the women and the men in our life to really help to, shape who we are today. And everybody's story is very different. My mom has a quote that I love to say. I think every time I speak, I say it: go as far as you can see, and then you will see further. And so I think that that's such a powerful statement because, your father said you were going to be a doctor and you were the first person in your family to go to college. So even him planting those seeds helped to get your foot at that place of college. But it wasn't until you were there that it literally locked in. And so it kind of, my mom's quote applies very well: go as far as you can see, and then you'll see even further. So, would love to also hear, why don't we just keep it with you, Ayisha, for this moment? As busy, there's so many great questions I have, but I want to make sure we get into some of the real good nuggets you have to offer us. So as busy women and mothers and sisters and wives and significant others and community leaders and all the hats that we wear, we know that we are affected by what's happening in this world. We know we're affected by the economy, what's happening in the news, the violence, the political landscape, the microaggressions. I really think that's a nice little word. It's really the gaslighting and macroaggressions. We know we're affected by all these things. And so it's affecting our burnout levels. It's affecting our mental health. You recently launched a social media platform that I'm loving because it's so in alignment with Utopia Living, really about being healthy, mind, spirit, body, and relationships. Tell us the effects of stress and why it's so important as women that we are tending to our well-being. So why don't you share a few things with us around that?
Sure. So now I'll put on my medical hat. And so as some of you all may know, February was just cardiovascular month. And it was a time when healthcare providers would provide awareness for the risk factors associated with developing cardiovascular disease. And one of the bigger risk factors that people I don't think are aware of or even address is stress. We all know that diet and exercise and you shouldn't smoke and you shouldn't drink alcohol. All of those things contribute to heart disease. But stress is inevitable. It's not going anywhere. It's here to stay, and actually it's here to attack us. And we need to identify the stress and attack it and be aware of the detriment that it can have. Stress in any stressful environment, let me say, in any stressful environment, your body produces catecholamines, these special hormones. These hormones are cortisol, it's adrenaline, also known as epinephrine, it's norepinephrine, and it's dopamine. And these hormones actually cause vasoconstriction of your blood vessels. And when it causes those vasoconstriction of your blood vessels, the tightening of your blood vessels, that elevates your heart rate, it elevates your blood pressure, and actually the blood vessels that supply blood to your heart and surround your heart aren't able to adequately provide blood flow because of that vasoconstriction. And when the stress is alleviated, those hormones kind of go back to baseline. But as I had shared in recently, is that it's not even imagined, it's what we do, because we live in a constant stressful environment. Navigating this world as women of color, navigating this world being a caretaker, navigating this world trying to be perfect at work, navigating this world dealing with the microaggressions, navigating this world trying to wear every hat and juggle all the balls. That stress never dissipates. So it's now a constant level of stress that is just continuing to produce these hormones in your body that leads to higher blood pressures, higher heart rates, and increased risk of developing heart disease. And so what I had shared is that we have to attack stress like any other disease, and we have to view it as a disease. And if we look at it as a virus that is attacking us, then we must do everything in our power to combat it and eradicate it. And that's easier said than done, right? Like I can say, okay, eliminate your stress. Well, I'm guilty of it too. And I'm on my wellness journey through the help of Naya and my own therapist. But I do feel that we need to incorporate as much as we can to minimize the stress. And if we can totally alleviate it, that would be wonderful as well. And I'll let Naya, she can go into some more modalities that we can use and healthy lifestyle changes that we can incorporate.
Absolutely. And so, the reason that I created the Utopia brand really is to help combat stress, burnout, but also so we can empower people to live passionately on purpose. That is the underlying theme. And so, whether it is through our wellness classes, such as Tai Chi, our mental health coaching, we really have a holistic 360 approach. So, on our platform, we created a platform that allows corporations and associates to really address their self-care every day with different types of wellness, because we know we live in a very global world. So I love the fact that there is this day to celebrate women around the world, and that we're using it to celebrate and highlight women in wellness around the world, because we need to have wellness strategies. As Dr. Edwards said, stress is not going away. And 80 to 90% of death and disease is caused by that thing called stress. So if we don't have the tools to combat that stress, whether it is 3 minutes of breath work, whether it is 10 minutes of Tai Chi, whether it is, strategies to really reduce stress and anxiety that we can incorporate in our day to day. So these are the types of classes that we offer 6 days a week, different therapists to provide and instructors to provide yoga, Pilates, Tai Chi, mental health coaching, nutritional coaching. And then we also offer group coaching and workshops, because we know there's so many different ways that we need to absorb wellness and really permeate a culture of the workplace. And the reason why we picked the workplace is because the workplace is also causing a whole lot of stress for us. So, at the end of the day, as women, we are often underrepresented in our fields, depending on what your field you're in. And for women of color, even further marginalized, unfortunately. And so with that, there comes a lot of added layers of stress and anxiety and mental health conditions that come from being in those spaces. So I am very passionate about really our company partnering with corporations and organizations to shift the culture. So it's a culture of mindful inclusion and well-being, because you cannot have well-being without belonging. So that's why we have a global focus, because we know that everyone needs to see themselves in solutions, and we don't live in a homogeneous world. It takes all of our beauty to make this world go round. And so I also will say my father instilled in me just a love for globalization and culture as a global businessman. And so I've always been fascinated with that. And so I also want to say, the more that we can tap into what makes our spirit come alive, the more we can tap into the things that bring us joy, that's also a huge part of our well-being. Doing more of those things that fuel us, that feed us. And so I think that's a good segue to our next question. What are some of the wellness practices? We'll start with Ayisha, then we'll go to Jess. What are some of your favorite wellness practices, things that you like to practice, whether it's super simple or, those more extravagant things where you do like retreats or travel? I know somebody on here travels a lot.
So I'll be very honest. Wellness for me is a recent journey. While Naya just stated, yes, I do travel, and that brings me joy, and I spend time with my friends and family, and that brings me happiness. But truly focusing on self is a new area for me. I by my birth order and by my profession, I've always been a nurturer. I am the caretaker. I am the provider. I'm the responsible one. And so it is really in the last year that I have said it's okay to be selfish and to be okay with that and to give myself time to pause and to focus on me. And it's uncomfortable at times, not going to lie, it's uncomfortable, but I'm pushing forward. I've incorporated I'm seeking mental health therapy counseling, and I do that every two weeks religiously, and it's been most helpful, especially in this post-COVID world. I've used the Calm app, which has been pretty successful. I used to need the television to go to sleep at night, and so incorporating that has been pretty relaxing. I'm not sure if it's the Calm app or if I'm just exhausted at night, but something is putting me to sleep. And my girl tribe is my wellness. Like, they have uplifted me and supported me, especially in these last 3 years. I don't know what I would have done without the women in my life. So the chats, the outings, the brunches, the conversations, even though that doesn't look like traditional wellness, it's been my wellness, and it's been most helpful to keep my sanity and to keep that stress level down. So,
Yes. And I just want to,
Yeah. Yes,
oh,
I think so too. Yeah, because I, for example, in my case, I choose practices that apparently are like opposite, because Tai Chi is more than like meditation, something slow. You can do it anywhere, any whenever you want. But it's also I love also kickboxing, that is so active, so strong, so hard, punch and kicking. But both of them are beautiful for me, are gorgeous, because it depends on your mood, it depends on your preferences. But the wonderful of this platform, this amazing Utopia platform, is that you can choose, and the wellness practice that you better feel like to do in that moment, and enjoy a time only for you. It's your time. It's a very important time, because it's the time to reconnect with yourself, to recover. And in my case, I love do Tai Chi 30 minutes when I wake up and 3 minutes when I go to bed. So that's very helpful to focus, to prepare you for your day, and to calm down when you go to bed, because it allows you to feel better when you're going to sleep, and that your mind calm down, and you have a very recovering night. So, and kickboxing, I prefer it when I feel like so energetic or stressful, because it helps you to to release that stress, and you start a session like and you feel at the end of the class you are like like totally different. So I love both of
yeah.
them.
I do love that there's a variety, right? So I hear Jess saying like the Tai Chi is great to just start the morning and start the day in a very calm, focused space, and go to bed in a very calm, tranquil space. And it's that breath, chi, movement. I love Tai Chi. I just started Tai Chi with our with our platform. I love it because it is so centering and calming. But I also love the fact that she has something that's like high energy, like to kick out that stress. And that person that got on your nerves today, you can kick and punch without going to jail. And it also makes your body look amazing. So it's like a triple win, right? That part. But I do want to say, it's so funny, Ayisha. So, we talked about like the girlfriend therapy, and hi, April, one of our other sister friends is on here. That part is so important for me because we work so hard, and as an entrepreneur the work is hard, as a physician the work is hard, so it is a part of well-being. Like, so my book 30 Days to Utopia Living, it's called Unleash Abundance in Your Mind, Spirit, Body, and Relationships, because relationships our community, our tribe, that place where you can feel safe, that place where you can just laugh, that place where you can feel like you can just be yourself is so important. So I like when I say I live for the weekends because I am grinding during the week, y'all. But during so don't get it twisted when you see on my Instagram and think that she don't work. No, I work. I work really, really, really hard. But we have to come up for air. And I also want to say that a lot of times as women, we struggle with really investing in our self care because we do feel like it's selfish because we are those nurturers. And I would say, especially, women that are, doing a whole lot. Like whether you are a stay at home mom and you are managing the house and the kids, or you are in a high pressure role and you're out here making it happen and breaking barriers, we're doing a lot. And a lot of times, the more we're doing, the more people are expecting us to do because they see us as the folks that can get it done. And so then more and more piles on our plate. And oftentimes, what happens is nobody's checking in on the strong one. And I want to say, check in on the strong friend, check in on the family member, that everyone's always piling their plate up because we're all human beings and we all have a capacity. We all have only but so much that we can take or do. So I want to say to women, do not feel guilty and actually don't even think it's selfish. It's not even selfish. It's really selfless because we can't pour from an empty cup. And so if we take time, it's like taking your car for maintenance so you can make sure that it's going to run well. If you're taking time to fill your cup, whether that is a nap, whether that is a weekend getaway, whether that is brunch with the girlfriends, whether that's just shutting the computer, shutting it all down and saying, you know what? I'm just going to sit here and sip on my tea or take Tai Chi, whatever that is for you. I want to say, don't feel that it's selfish. It's actually selfless because it's going to allow you to fuel yourself for all of the things that you're doing day in and day out. So kudos. I want to say congratulations, Ayisha, because I know that it's hard for you being the oldest and taking care of it all. And so, and also being a physician, your job is to take care of people. And I also want to say, I thank you for all that you pour out into your patients, into your family, into your friends, to your community. You have hopped on the phone with my family so many times to help us navigate really, really difficult healthcare challenges. She's not able to do that for everybody, which is why she came up with her social media platform. I want to put a disclaimer so you don't blow up her inbox. So that's a really smart way for you to have some self-care too. Still right. Advocating, still helping people, still giving them, access to great, wonderful insights, but also with boundaries. So let's talk about boundaries. What are some of the ways that you ladies have or putting boundaries in place for yourself, or have put boundaries in place for yourself?
I would say, well, I've also incorporated exercise, and so that has allowed me to leave my home, leave my workspace, and get into a zone, and the results I'm seeing. So I'm going to continue to push forward. I think also being okay with saying no and not feeling guilty.
Yes. Yes.
I think I need to say that again. I think I need to say it again for me. Yeah. Being okay with saying no, or that you cannot do it, I'm unable at this time, and being okay with that and not feeling guilty about it. And that's a big one. That's a huge one, because you feel obligated to serve everyone and to figure out everyone's problems. And again, just who I am as a person, that's been a challenge for me. But the self-focus, the introspection, the counseling sessions have allowed me that it's okay. And I can take that moment, and those who truly know me and who truly value my opinions, my advice, my help, my assistance, will understand that it's okay at that moment that I can't help or serve them. Now, the caveat is, of course, in any emergency, true emergency, I'm there. But just on a day-to-day, it's okay, and allowing yourself that opportunity and that time and space to be focused on you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Beautiful, beautiful. And I'll ask the same of you, Jess. What are some of the ways that you put boundaries in place for yourself as just a busy mom and wife and martial artist and fitness expert, all the things that you do?
Yeah, thank you, Naya. Yes, the benefits that I have got from the fitness and wellness and martial arts are so many, but I'll say three main benefits that I have got, and you can do it as well. The first one is to know, but not like, oh yes, I know it. No, it's like that you feel inside of you that you can more than you think. You are
Mm-hmm.
more powerful than you think. Because I
Mm-hmm.
remember when I was at the very beginning in martial arts. By the way, I'm black belt because when I started 5 years later, I got my black belt in Kung Fu and Tai Chi. But when I was at the very beginning and in the middle of that career, oh my God, it was so hard because I had to fight with men because no, there wasn't any other woman to
Wow.
fight. So I had to do it. And I many times I felt like I can't, I'm gonna quit. But I kept in mind my mom's voice. That's why I beg you, if you have kids or children or your sons or your daughter around you, just make sure to give them some support words, some support, some encouragement, because you never know the huge impact of that in their lives. For me, that made the difference. The second thing was that I can dream and achieve my dreams come true. And the third one is that every day it's important, because if you want to follow a discipline, it's important not only to practice it like once a week or once a month. Try to at least 10 minutes, as Naya said before. 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, or if you can take a whole class, in order that you can improve and you can feel better and do a huge difference in life. So every day counts. That's the
Absolutely.
three benefits that I got. Yeah.
So true. So true. Every day, every second counts.
Every day, every second. Life is a gift. It is, and we can make the most of each and every day. And so, I know, Dr. Edwards, you will probably have to transition off in a few minutes. So I want to make sure I ask you. Actually, I want to share this quote, and I think it's a great segue into my next question as well. So the quote that I wanted to share for today is: the strongest action for a woman is to love herself, be herself, and shine amongst those who never believed she could. And so, I think we struggle sometimes with that in the social media era. We're seeing so many different examples and people posting of all these things, living their best life, and we can get really caught up. And we all know that we're sharing our best moments. Not to say that those aren't moments, but they're not the fullness of all that's going on.
Right.
So the strongest action is for us to believe in ourselves and to also shine amongst those that believe we never could. So I want to give you an opportunity to share, what are you most proud of? And there might be a lot of things, but when you think of your journey, your path, what you've accomplished, I always tell you how proud I am of you. What are you most proud of in terms of what you've accomplished as a woman and a woman of color?
So as I reflect back and I think, I'm going to kind of answer this in two parts. My younger self,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see it. I didn't see what people saw in me. I didn't. And I remember my mom telling me, you're going to be great and you're going to do wonderful things and you're going to help people. And this is and this is before I became a physician. And since becoming a physician, it is very recent in the last few years as well. Maybe as I'm getting older, there's all of this awakening and enlightenment coming, where I am okay with allowing the light within me to shine. And I wasn't okay with that for a long time. And I didn't even understand or realize that I wasn't okay with it. I just kind of subconsciously dimmed my light. And so there were many times when even Naya or my girlfriends or my mom would say, you know, she's a doctor. And I would say, shh, 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 don't tell anyone. Shh, 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 don't say anything. And
why is that?
And I think for me, it was, or is, or nope, it was.
Nope. Yes.
It was imposter syndrome. It was not seeing the greatness within me. It was things that stemmed from my childhood. It was not seeing people of color in the position that I am in. And so how did I get here? Am I supposed to be here? Was this a fluke? But as now, I realize that my existence, and I heard this, someone tell me this, that your existence is revolutionary. My presence right now, if I don't do anything else, is revolutionary. And it is okay to allow that light to shine bright. And it is okay that you have a seat at the table. And it's even better if you create your own table. And and so what makes me most proud is when people, women, men, my community thanks me for what I've done.
Yeah.
That's what makes me most proud. And when they are receptive and appreciative and actually give me I'm so proud of you, baby. You're a doctor. Oh my goodness. I have my patients who tell me, oh, I've never met a doctor like you. Oh, you listened to me. You heard me. Oh my gosh. So thank you. That's what makes me so proud. That's what gives me the push to keep going. That brings it back home to when I said earlier about being the physician that provides quality care to people that looked like her and in a community that I didn't have. So when I get that information and feedback from my patients, I'm on cloud nine. It brings me out of this lull. It brings me out of this kind of woe is me. And it gives me that little bit of push forward to continue to move and to provide care for them. So that's what makes me most proud.
Thank you for sharing that. And you kind of did a little interwoven, but before you have to say, no, it was good. It was really, really good, because I want you to always remember that too. And I want us all to remember that. Remember your why. Remember your why, because it's tough out here in these streets. It's tough out here wherever field we're in. There's so many barriers and obstacles and challenges that we're facing, and that we have to continue to push through and push through and push through. And so knowing that that is what fills your cup, I want to just say to you, my sister, don't ever forget that. And so what would you tell your younger self, the younger girls like yourself that maybe don't necessarily see it for themselves or see other people like themselves breaking ground in whatever space that is in and in medicine?
I would say to them, it's okay to shine. It is. And with that, you're not being boastful. You're not being conceited. You're not thinking that you're better than someone else, but it is okay to think that you are the best at whatever you're doing and that no one is better than you. Because if you don't plant those seeds and that
Mhm.
spirit, then you
Mhm.
will end up developing the imposter syndrome and the doubt and the questioning, are you worthy? And so you must understand and realize that you are worthy, and as I stated earlier, that your existence is revolutionary just by you being here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad you said that because I think that's something we struggle with. And there's a reason why. And I feel like that's a whole nother conversation. We'll have to do a part two of why are we afraid to shine and to really, own our light. And I don't think it's nature versus nurture or socialization, all of these things we talk about, imposter syndrome and all of these things that we struggle with. But for the most part, we didn't come out the womb like that. If you look at kids, they're free, they're dancing, they're running, they're happy, and they're freely expressing themselves, right? And we learn somewhere along the path to not do that. And so I think as women, if we don't support each other, empower each other, uplift each other, affirm each other, encourage each other, create space at the table, pay it forward, then we can't expect anybody else to. So we need to be our best champion, not only for ourselves, but for others coming behind us. And so let's make sure that we're always doing that. So thank you for
Yeah.
that. Was
And
powerful.
yeah, I just want to share something because I love what Anisha is saying and what you told as well, Naya. And it's how to be proud of yourself because, experience that I had in my life as a martial arts artist was that at the beginning, I was like a little shy to share with others that I'm practicing martial arts because the people used to think that that's for men, yeah, but it's okay if you like whatever you like. So I love martial arts, and now I'm proud to say I'm black belt and teacher, and as a business administrator, and as a professor in several universities, and I always say, yeah, yeah, I'm a professional, I'm a professor, I'm teaching like accounting or I'm teaching marketing, but I am black belt of Tai Chi and Kung Fu as well, and I love that. So yeah, what you are saying is beautiful because to be proud of yourself and to allow the light shine on you is something very important to serve others, to help others even.
I love that, Jesse. I love that a couple things I love. I love that you made sure that you shared, in that moment, and that you shared how multidimensional you are because we don't have to be one dimensional. So I love the fact that you brought in all of the different areas of yourself, that you're a professor, that you teach marketing, accounting, and all of these things, and you're dominating the space in a male dominated area where physically you have to show your physical strength. So I want to just also ask you, Jesse, who have been some of the women in your life that have really inspired you in your strength and in being courageous?
Yes, and I'm going to be, yeah, like before, totally honest. And the woman that has inspired me more is my mom, because um, when I feel like quit, I feel like it's so hard. I always remember her beautiful smile, and because the whole life she has worked, she has been an excellent mom. He has been an excellent wife, and all of that. So many things, so many roles. So I can do what I said that I was gonna do if she was able to do it too. So she was, and in the field of martial arts, um, like Mulan, because I heard about some a warrior that fight for her country, for her family, and in the place replacing her father. So that like lightened something in me, inside me, because okay, men can do many things, but women as well. So we have the strength, we have the wiseness, we have the intelligence, we have the discipline and the capacity to learn new things so fast. Okay,
Right.
so we have to be proud of being women, and we have to let as one as own our own light to shine. So that has been my inspirations.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I'll say the same, right? I want to take a moment to answer this question. I saw my mom pioneering spaces, all throughout my life. So my mom was the first Black woman to achieve the status of national sales director for the whole state of Virginia, the first Black woman to achieve that status. And so as she journeyed, in her whole field was empowering women. And so seeing that week in and week out and having women at our home, and I went from being a tomboy when I was a little girl to now loving all things pink. So I can say, sure, her influences have influenced me from, lots and lots of layers. And so, Ayisha, I know you might have to hop off a few minutes early, but I also want to say my grandmothers. My paternal grandmother passed away about a week and a half ago, and she lived to be 98. And, when you reflect, it's like she always just had like this calm strength, but yet a great sense of humor, but a beautiful caretaker and family focused and family oriented. And I think that helped her to live to be 98. So that love, that strength, that ability to laugh, and always, ready to have a good time with her family, her children, her sisters. And then my maternal grandmother was such a huge influence in my life, and seeing her strength, and then going back to the house that I grew up in partially in Philadelphia, and seeing that she painted that house. My grandmother painted her own house, and it's still one of the most beautiful houses on the block, and it still has the paint that she painted. And so just seeing these things, and there's all these different ways that the women in our lives have shaped us and molded us, and I want to make sure that we continue to do that and pay it forward. And so I'm going to share 4 ways that we can do that, and then we're going to transition to a 3-minute Tai Chi session. And so one way is mentorship. We've achieved a lot in our fields. And so think about how you can share your knowledge, your skills, your experience, and reach back for other women on their journey. Advocacy, speaking up for the rights of women and girls in your community and beyond. If you see something, say something, okay? And this is even making sure that there's pay equity, representation in terms of leadership. I'm very proud to say that Utopia Global Wellness is 90% women and 85% women of color. Very, very proud of that. Support, show support for other women by amplifying their voices. Ayisha was like, when you got your partnership with United Healthcare, share it with me. I'll repost it. There are easy, simple ways that we can amplify each other's voices and collaboration. And I feel like this is collaboration right here. So 4 simple ways to do that. Why don't we go ahead, Jesse, and have you lead us in a express 3-minute Tai Chi experience. Put your questions and comments in the chat. And Ayisha, if you have to hop off, thank you for joining us. I know you have things to do.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you. And happy International Women's Day, ladies.
Yes.
All right, okay. Beautiful women that are watching this, we are going to do 3 minutes of Tai Chi. If you prefer, you can stand up, or if you prefer, just stay sitting, all right? So first thing is your posture, right? So make sure that your back is straight but relaxed, okay? And second place, shoulders. So make small circles just to make sure that we are a little warm up, and then extend your arms all the way at your sides. Perfect, very good. Now make sure that you rotate to one side first and come back. Very good. Now to the other side. and come back. Very good. Now we are going to combine that with your breathing. This is a Tai Chi posture that it's going to activate your organs and your energy. Okay, you can practice this 3 minutes in the morning. So open your arms and inhale. At the same time, rotate. Inhale, inhale, inhale. Very good. And when you come back, exhale and take your arms down again. Very good. Now let's do it again to the other side. So arms up at your sides, inhaling and rotating. Inhaling and rotating. Breathe in and breathe out. Very good. Now once more to one side. And this time take your arms very, very high. Hands together and rotate to come back. Very good. Into the other side. Inhaling, breathing in. Hands up, hands together, breathe in. And open your arms again. Come back. Very good. This is going to open your chest and it gives more capacity to your lungs to oxygen better your cells in your whole body. Okay, now we are going to do another one. This is going to be helpful for you to focus your mind and to be clear when you're going to work. So extend your arms down. Very good. Relax and bring them up. Inhaling. Then rotate your wrists and continue inhaling, inhaling, inhaling. When you are all the way, exhale, release the air. Very good. Once more. You inhale, rotate, continue inhaling, take your chin up, and exhale. Once more. Very focused on your breathing. Feel the air. Feel the energy inside of you. Inhale, rotate. Up. Very good. Very deeply. And exhale. You can't deny that this activates your whole
Beautiful.
body. Yes, your whole body is activated. So I invite you to practice this at least 3 minutes. But the ideal thing is that you can do it like 30 minutes or better, 1 hour because it's going to
Thank
a
you,
lot.
Jess. Thank you so much. All right, we're going to get ready to wrap it up. We're right at time. So thank you all that joined us today for this amazing Utopia talk celebrating women in wellness around the world. And thank you for your engagement. I want to just invite you to partner with Utopia Global Wellness to make your workplace more equitable for women, really increasing gender equity and inclusion this Women's Month and every day. So empower and support the women in your workplace, in your organization, in your community with our classes, workshops, coaching, and cultural assessments. There's a link in there if you'd like to schedule a discovery call. We'd love to chat with you to see how we can support you in your workplace wellness initiatives. So make it a Utopia Living Day, and I will reshare that quote with us. Again, the strongest action for a woman is to love herself, be herself, and shine amongst those who never believed she could. Thanks again, and make it a Utopia Living Day. Take care.
Thank you.